On the ferry in the future, she's got a little extra cash.
Thank you, Mr. King. My name is Malcolm Rule. I live at 227 Indian Bluff Drive in Minnesota, and it's a tough act to follow. I hope by now that you have got the idea communicated to you that most of the people in this room don't really favor the toll. Just thought I would check. I spoke before about elasticity of demand last time we were here, and the fact that if you start charging or increase charges on a good or a service, that people will make alternate plans, and some of the people are going to drive around. That was addressed earlier on. But I do have sort of something that hit me in the face actually yesterday. Laws like this and the tolls do have consequences. And even though it hasn't gone into effect, the effects are already being felt. One of my neighbors announced yesterday that the final nail in the coffin, she works in Carteret County, was the idea of the ferry toll and the reduction in service. She's leaving the county. She's moving to Carteret. We're losing a vibrant member of our community. Not only was she a registered nurse who was a volunteer, who actually gave back to the community significantly. She was a good person who, because of what the government is doing, has in fact made a decision to relocate elsewhere. This is before the tolls have gone into effect. This is just with the idea that this is a possibility or a probability of something that's going on. She says, I've had enough. How many other people are going to be making similar decisions in their lives? How many other people will make decisions not to move into Pamlico County based upon the fact that one of the mode of transport to get out, to get over to Cherry Point, and to get down to the beaches is no longer free, but now is one of the few tolls, the only tolls really, in the state. You've heard from us, from quite a few people, that Pamlico is a depressed area. We need help. We don't need hindrances, and this is a hindrance. Your actions of the state legislature's actions have consequences. We would prefer not to be the people who are burdened by those consequences. Thank you for your time.
Gosh, I'm not sure what I need to say now. I mean, it was my last, the nail in the coffin on my points. I'm a small business owner in Pamlico County, real estate actually. One of the points I wanted to make is the economic impact it's going to make on our community, especially our real estate values, which I hate to tell you how depressed they are and how slow our market is. But if you look in every one of the neighborhoods within Pamlico County, you would see a good portion of the people living there are veterans. And they moved here to Pamlico County because it was easy to go back and forth to get services. You add another $16 for how much a year, that makes a big impact on the retirement of these people and the cost to do business, the cost to get groceries, to go to the commissary for a reason. Major impact on our businesses. And we'll just look at our golf course. Add $16 to a round of golf, and how many people are going to be coming from the other side to play a round of golf with an additional $16? They may not come over but 2, 3, 4 times a year on some of the tournaments. They won't be coming at all now. They won't be coming. And I tell you, look at golf courses, and I'm just using that one thing as an example, what it's going to do to our golf courses. All golf courses are struggling right now, and the same thing goes with the people here going over to some of the golf courses in Carteret County. They're struggling also. Just one type of business. I won't mention our restaurants and dress shops and gift stores and other things, except, besides real estate. You're talking about that you've already budgeted for the new building. Well, let me tell you, in our business, we've had a major economic impact for the past 5 years, and then you add the hurricane on top of it. A lot of work we did for free for people, trying to help them on their economic recovery from working with insurance companies, etc. Well, let me tell you, we've restructured our budget dramatically. All the extras, all the plans, all the things that we plan to do, we're not doing that anymore as a business and a family. I say the first thing you need to do, DOT, when you're looking at this $5 million, is rebudget. The second thing you need to do is look at how much this is going to cost you to do this. It will not make you money to do this, to implement these tolls. And besides the fact, the economic impact on the state, but it will cost you money to implement these tolls with added employees, a new building, with all the other different things. I will leave it on this. I want to know where our gas tax money is going. I know, because I've been to some of the meetings where you guys have disclosed where some of our gas tax money is going. I think it's time for that to come out, and it's time to renegotiate how many fees that the DOT, Department of Transportation, is paying other departments, so it doesn't look like they're not paying for themselves. I think you need to, each department in the state of North Carolina needs to pay for their own department, instead of stealing from one to pay to another one, so it doesn't have to come out in the open where our money's going, where our taxes. But this gas tax goes to our roads. It does not need to go to other departments. Like somebody said, the state lottery tax needs to go to education. You know, that's what we were promised. We were promised the same thing about the gas tax. Pay as you go. You want to increase some revenue? How about 440? You have 40. 440 just bypasses and makes it easier. How about the new 43 that's coming through? How about that? I bet you that's where you're going to make money. It's not going to cost you. How about the 264? How about what's that, 117 Goldsboro going back towards Wilton? You know what? I bet you these, you'd make money at implementing. You will not make money on the tolls repairing. Thank you.
Following Mr. Musial, we have Mr. King.
Mr. Robbins, thank y'all for putting this on. It's my precious and you, Department of Transportation. And I think you have a strong fabric of the community, one that really comes together the way it should be. Strong community. I really would like to say in some aspect of this, really call it the point, the cherry point, it's a very strong structure of this whole area. Pamlico County employs hundreds of people over at Cherry Point. Speaker Tillis mentioned just a few weeks ago, which kind of makes it critical that the state, the General Assembly, should do everything it can to make the military feel as welcome as they are in this state. Making any kind of hindrance in that way and BRAC commission and all the realignments, it's just another nail in the coffin. We all remember, some do, some don't, a few years ago when our governor did fight because Cherry Point was under the gun, in the scope. I mean, it was coming a hard time. And our governor did put gloves on and we kept Cherry Point. She's under the gun again. I've talked with some people over there in town that's with the base, trying to maintain connections in Washington to see what it looks like. One day they get a good response, another day they get it iffy, the next day, I mean, they have their fingernails. It is something of real strong concern to make this more of a hindrance. I I think is very, very sad. I do think there's going to be other issues that will come up. Me, myself, as they mentioned, with the hurricane through here, homeowners insurance just went up. I don't know if anybody brought that up privately. Sadly enough, there's a lot of people who don't have a home right now down here to experience the increase in homeowners. It will come into that. I do see these tolls as a tax on the working man. Then the PCS, that's a very strong employer. Pamlico, Beaufort's on the hit. It's right to Ferry there, right to Ferry over here. Cherry Point, very strong, one of the strongest. It's like I said, the new, not the dog from Jones County. It's a nice, humble, great little county. But as far as the economic development, for it to be between Jacksonville and Newbern, it's just like night and day. I mean, that is a little. But I tell them, and they responded, if something was to happen with the base over here, Grady County, which is pretty much the parent county over Pamlico, because that's where we have to go to do our shopping from Pamlico, for any kind of shopping at any dimension like Walmart. Grady County would look like Jones County. And I said, probably 10 years, and they're telling me, no, brother, you're looking like 2 or 3. He said, you would see just 2 or 3 real estate offices, you had empty lines, you had everything. I mean, the trickle-down effect, if they're going to talk about the Republicans and the Reagan and the trickle-down, let's look at the trickle-down down the road. Down the road, not today, but down the road. Just like when you put your kid in 1st grade, you're thinking about college. Let's look down the road at that. Same way, you have retirees here. Luckily, Pamlico County has a lot of retirees from up north. A lot of them make comfortable income. They're able to come down here, and that's what sustains a lot of our restaurants, a lot of our shopping. But on the same factor, a lot of locals down here that put away for their sunny days, their retirement time. Those times are eating them hard, brother, I'm gonna tell you. They have just enough coming in to Social Security and a little bit of pension. As I say, if your homeowners go up, your gas tax goes up, your price of gas goes up, your groceries have been going up continuously. If you got a man that's drawing $500-600 a month, and it all goes up, well, if he's got to spend $600, where's it come from? It's going again to look down the road. You're going to see someone, a humble man, that don't want to. By God's grace, these people here are proud. But at some point in time, he's going to have to ask for assistance. He won't. His children probably will. He's going to have to ask for assistance. Where's his assistance coming from? It's going to have to come from some form of government. The same way with single parents, a single mom. There's not so much employment down here. She has to get a job in Carter, Ferry County, drive across that road. You're looking at a woman that's probably going to flip a coin. Do I sign up for more assistance, or do I just bite the bullet and see if I can even make it? You know, daycare, expenses and stuff like that. I mean, you need to look down the road. I understand that y'all are under the gun. I don't know how it got this bad or this bad. And I know the whole state's in a hurry. Every county here is in a hurry. But by the same token, once you get to the other side of 95, they're breathing a whole lot easier than we are. And they have been breathing a whole lot easier than we are. In some kind of way, y'all need to look at this. If you need tolls, I'll be glad to ride with you. We can go to Lumberton, or we can ride right on up here somewhere around Virginia. I can find places on 40, 85, and 95. I mean, I know that a lot of truck lines are already squirming about these tolls on 95 and 85. But by the same token, these tolls are not going to hurt these trucking companies. I talked to a trucker just Friday. He said, brother, they're going to pass it on to the consumer. You know, I mean, but these people down here aren't that much of a consumer because they're all getting over a hurricane, which in my opinion is very, very appalling for the General Assembly not to even step back and say, wait a minute, we made a mistake. What they've been through, it should have been brought to national attention the same way. We went through